Welcome back to the battlefield. Today we are going to take a look at some team fights in Chivalry 2 and get some tips and tricks for how to succeed, and then some ideas about what can go wrong in a team fight. So let's get straight into it. One of the first things to notice in a team fight is how rapidly they develop. So in this, it was just the start of a match. I was pushing up with my team, and within a span of about 5 seconds, it was down to myself and one teammate, and then shortly after that, myself versus 4 enemies, all within a matter of maybe 10 to 15 seconds. When you can quickly observe which direction a team fight is moving, you can plan your positioning accordingly. Because I was so heavily outnumbered and I'm not nearly good enough to take on multiple enemies by myself, I fell back towards my team with the hope that I could regain a numerical advantage. And as you can see, that paid off and we ended up wiping out the enemies over here. Now it goes without saying that I created the imbalance in numbers by not minding my swings and downing my teammates. So obviously in a team fight you need to pay attention to where your teammates are and not just swing wildly and hit them. So here, even though I'm still not great at it, you'll see me use more overheads and thrusts in an effort to avoid damaging my teammates. We end up gaining the numerical advantage, so I have a moment to back off and revive a teammate before continuing the fight. I should also add that team damage is going to happen. You can't always predict the movement of your teammates and your enemies. In this circumstance, you'll see me take my second swing and step backwards into my teammate's attack right there. My teammate thought I was moving forward, I suppose, and so it's not anything to worry about really, but do what you can to avoid it. Your teammates will definitely appreciate not getting slapped in the back. Now, I'm not exactly very good at this game, so maybe you can learn to predict your enemy's movements a lot better than I do, but while you're learning, do your best and don't worry too much about getting a little bit of team damage here and there. It's just gonna happen. And with that in mind, know that sometimes your teammates are gonna hit you. It's part of the game. Now off to my right, you'll notice a guy throw all of his weapons and he's exposed. I could chase him and try and get an easy kill, but I see his teammates following up behind and realize that if I overcommit to him, it's going to get me killed for sure. I fell back and it didn't save me, but it gave me a chance. This clip I want to showcase luck. Now luck isn't necessarily something that you can train, but you can do things to improve your odds of getting lucky. So upcoming is a brief fight against 2 people. I can't really make them miss their swings in every circumstance, but I can do things that make it more difficult for them to land a strike. And then if I get lucky when they miss their attacks, I have an opening to counterattack and dish out some damage. So you can see several missed attacks from them there, and it gives me a chance to land some pretty heavy blows. Now, my luck does run out here, and off comes my head. A target prioritization is a pretty major factor in any team fight. If you can pick someone who you can rapidly eliminate and get out of the fight, you turn the odds in your favor. So, in these circumstances here, you can see I'm going for people that I've got a bunch of teammates around, and I'm trying to use overhead strikes to avoid hitting my teammates. But the faster we can eliminate these enemies, the faster we can gain a numerical advantage. You'll notice here I take a break to figure out where my team is and where the enemy team is. I see several enemy soldiers over there and one friendly archer, so I decide that's not the fight for me. Archers don't deserve support anyway, let them die. This bit I do the exact wrong thing. It's like I'm playing Battlefield or something. I just go for a blind revive without paying attention to what's going on around me, and it ends up with my teammate dead. Now, I'm no soldier, I'm not a combat expert, I don't have any kind of experience, all I do is play games. But it's pretty much common sense that the shorter the time is from you identifying an enemy to the time you have killed the enemy, the better. If you spend a team fight damaging everyone on the enemy team without killing any of them, then they still have all of their offensive capability. But if you focus your efforts and take down one at a time, you can quickly start turning the numbers game in your favor. Now, standing in front of me are several friendly archers. The example from this is you absolutely do not support archers ever. The moment you take time to support an archer is the moment you deserve to die. Jokes aside, if you see teammates who could use your help, do what you can to support them. But be smart about it. If you've got a teammate who's going 1v10 and you're by yourself, you're probably not going to be able to save them, so it's probably not worth going after. But if you've got a teammate who's in a 1v2 and you can get over there and surprise one of the enemies, get some extra damage in, throw things off balance, there's a really, really good chance you can save your teammate's bacon. Another major factor that I myself am very guilty of is don't be greedy. In this situation, I had plenty of teammates behind me, but I got greedy for the quick, easy kill on a guy that was downed. And I still got the kill, but it left me way out of position, stuck in the middle of the enemy team, and as you can see, I did not fare well. Now this clip is a bit of an interesting one because it shows the difference objectives make in how you should move. Normally I'm all for stay in the middle of your team, don't go away from your team, don't get outnumbered. And you can see the beginning here, I go back, I make sure the air is safe. But right now the objective is keep the air alive, not keep me alive. So one of the best ways to do that is to keep the enemy from even getting close to the air. That changes my playstyle from being a little bit defensive and sitting back by my team towards being a lot more aggressive, pushing into the enemy lines and just trying to get them fighting away from the air. The beginning of this clip shows off why it's important to recognize opportunities and pursue them. So as you can see, we're defending, the numbers are relatively even, I make the mistake of killing a teammate. But right here, they've got a couple of bots and a lot of their players start to die. So when this block lands and I pursue into my attack, I notice all three of their front men start falling back. Whatever the reason is, if I've got more teammates following up behind me, if they're low on health or stamina, whatever the reason, those guys want out of the fight. So instead of letting them run away, I got hyper aggressive, followed them into the tower, and killed them. Going into this second part of the tower, you'll see I'm just trying to pick fights that can turn the numbers in my team's favor. I've got a friendly in a 2v1. If I leave him alone and he dies, then there's still two enemies and there's one less teammate. But I could turn it around real quick and make it so there's two teammates and 0 enemies by taking him out. Right here, I know there's an enemy behind me, so instead of taking that 1v1, I turn around just to get rid of him real quick. Again, now it's two friendlies and 1 enemy. Now I've noticed we're losing the gatehouse, so I turn around to try and find where the most enemies are and try and help my team get rid of them. pick off a couple of easy kills. We're still outnumbered because they are still taking the gatehouse. But I get caught up in a 1v1 and lose track of my left side, and it gets me killed. Now, the beginning of this segment, each team has a pretty solid front line. There's a lot of numbers here, so I'm just trying to stay alive and look for a chance to get a hit in. Every time I watch my clips back, I always cringe at how much team damage I do. But you can see we're starting to lose the fight a little bit, so I fall back, try and keep with my team, try and keep the front line pretty stable. Still just waiting for an opportunity. Now I hear some teammates coming up behind. I see the blue player starting to fall back a little bit and say, okay, here's the chance I was looking for. Let's push, let's get aggressive and break their line. Our team manages to break straight through them. Now I take a moment to reevaluate positioning. There's lots of enemies around. I see teammates to my right. So the goal here is clear out enemies and keep teammates alive. Obviously that's always the goal. But picking enemies who are focused on one of my teammates gives me basically free damage on them and helps my teammates stay alive longer. The moment I get separated from the pack, I go down. Here, just another demonstration. There's a little bit less of a front line, and things can get kind of imbalanced and all over the place on this map, so I'm just trying to feel out the enemies, see where they're moving. And since they're cautious on the left side, but I see reinforcements coming up, I figure I'm going to reposition to the center and try and take a fight there. I'm trying my best to keep my back to my teammates, and here, even though I start to get an advantage on that guy, I don't have much health and I'm not confident in my one-on-one dueling, so I fall back to the team. Now I could do a whole bunch more analyzation and stuff and walk you through this real slow, but the rest of this clip is in here just because I get a funny kill, and you'll see what I mean in just a couple of seconds. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I am actually having quite a bit of fun making content like this. It's a little bit different from how I normally do things, but I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you in the next one.